Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sift through information and pull out the key insights for you. And today, we've got something really different. A deep dive into possibly one of the shortest texts we've ever tackled, but it's incredibly profound. Our source is excerpts from Ojei Huishiga. Now, just a quick reminder, here at the Deep Dive, our job is always to neutrally unpack the sources you give us. We're aiming to help you understand the message in this text as our source material interprets it. We're not endorsing any specific view, just relaying the ideas. And it's a fascinating challenge, isn't it? Finding so much meaning in just a few lines and figuring out what this Al-Kawthar really is based on what we have here.
It really is. It's quite something how, just a handful of words can carry so much weight, so many layers. When you really look closely, that brevity you mentioned, that's actually part of its power.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The very first line we have is Adiajayi, Ajahai. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. We see this opening a lot, right? So what does having it here tell us about the spirit of this particular text?
Well, it's absolutely key. Think of it as setting the stage, or maybe providing the lens through which we should read everything else. It immediately establishes this tone of overwhelming mercy, deep compassion, and importantly, generosity. Before we even get to the main point, this phrase tells us the foundation is divine kindness. It really guides our understanding of what follows.
Right, divine kindness. That makes a lot of sense as a starting point. And
Right.
following that, well, the text jumps straight into a massive act of giving. Verse 1, Gojechahai, drug a Ios's names. Indeed, we have granted you. A really strong statement. And then the core term, Al-Kawthar. This is where it gets really interesting. According to our source, what is this huge grant? What does Al-Kawthar mean here?
Okay, so the source title itself gives us a huge clue. Sa, which translates as River of Goodness and Redemption Sacrifice. So Al-Kawthar isn't just abundance. The word itself, its Arabic root, suggests something overflowing, like a profusion beyond measure. Our text points to it being this incredible overflowing bounty. More than just a gift, it's seen as this continuous source of profound goodness. And importantly, it also suggests this idea of an enduring legacy, lasting influence, something that keeps flowing even when things get tough, an unparalleled, generous gift.
Wow, okay. An overflowing river of goodness and legacy. That's a very potent image of a divine gift. So if you receive something that immense, what comes next? What's the response? Verse 2 seems to answer that directly. Elise for any dewasib, who people pick that imagine. So pray to your Lord and sacrifice to him alone. Are these just, ritual actions? Or is there something deeper about devotion being signaled here?
That's a great question. They're definitely presented as more than just actions. They're integral acts of devotion, yes, but also gratitude and submission.
Ah.
They're directly tied to receiving Al-Kawthar. Pray to your Lord. That signifies focusing all your worship, your requests, everything, solely on the one who gave this incredible gift.
Okay, so total focus on the giver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then sacrifice, that steps it up, emphasizing complete dedication, selfless devotion. It's about offering your purest actions, your intentions, back to that divine source of all this goodness.
Complete dedication. It's interesting how specific it is. Prayer and sacrifice. Direct, immediate. Does the source give any insight into why these two things specifically? Why not just say being thankful quietly?
Well, the implication seems to be that these aren't just feelings, they're active affirmations. Prayer is that direct line, that constant connection, acknowledging the source day in, day out. And sacrifice, in this context, it's like the ultimate demonstration of trust and devotion, giving up something valuable, whether it's possessions or ego, for the giver. So together, they paint a picture of active, selfless gratitude. It keeps that connection strong, even deepens it.
Active, selfless gratitude. I see. That makes the link clear. Now, the text takes quite a turn in the third of the final verse. Eadaz easinais hyparkle. Suddenly the focus is on, indeed, your enemy is the one cut off. That's a really stark contrast, isn't it, between the person receiving this overflowing goodness, Al-Kawthar, and this enemy. What's really being said here? What does this mean for us?
It is a stark contrast, and that word al-abtar, it's powerful. It doesn't just mean cut off in a general sense. It literally refers to something like an animal with its tail cut off, something incomplete, lacking continuation, no future. It's a really vivid image of total loss.
Incomplete, no future.
Wow. Exactly. So the verse draws this sharp line. On one side, you have the recipient of Al-Kawthar, blessed with overflowing abundance, this enduring legacy we talked about. And on the other side, the enemy, described as being in the state of, emptiness, insignificance, cut off. And the insight here, according to the source, isn't just about, say, not having children. It's deeper. It's just being cut off from all good, spiritually barren. It's about lacking any real, lasting, positive connection or impact. The idea is that rejecting that fundamental goodness, that source, leads to this ultimate emptiness, no matter what else might seem to be going on.
That's quite profound. A sobering contrast, definitely. Really makes you stop and think about connection versus being cut off in a much bigger sense. So our source paints this as the ultimate outcome abundance versus this spiritual desolation. What an incredible amount packed into just 3 short verses. This deep dive really highlights how it lays out this powerful story. Divine generosity, the expected human response, and then this idea of almost cosmic justice. We've seen Al-Kawthar as this overflowing river of goodness, this lasting legacy, and the response called for is this focused devotion, prayer, and sacrifice, which stands in sharp contrast to the fate of those who oppose or reject it, being left cut off, spiritually empty, without that enduring connection.
Absolutely. And perhaps that leaves us and you listening with something to mull over. You know, in our own lives, when we feel we've received some immense blessing, tangible or intangible, how do we actually respond? What does our response look like? And maybe thinking about the flip side too, in our world today, this super interconnected world, what does it even mean to be truly cut off? What might that look like? Not just for people, maybe even for ideas or movements that seem to lack that deeper connection, that source of enduring goodness. It's certainly something to consider.